Hello, 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 everyone. What is going on? James here, and welcome to Casual Combat Talk. I originally called it Cole's Combat Talk, but I think Casual Combat Talk sounds a lot better. So, yeah, and my name's not Cole, is it? But Cole is in my surname. So, anyway, let's get into this then. First thing that I wanted to talk about is Luke Campbell versus Ryan Garcia. Do a little bit of a post fight analysis or post fight discussion. So, yeah, with this fight, a lot of people are all doubting Garcia. They had questions that were unanswered. Is he actually any good? He's just fought bums, etc., etc., etc. And my prediction before the fight, even though I didn't put this up publicly on YouTube, my prediction was Ryan Garcia fourth round KO. I thought it would have gone how his previous fight did, a counter check left hook, but that didn't happen. I mean, I was a little bit worried watching it, to be honest, because I thought, damn, Garcia could potentially empty the gas tank doing this sort of stuff. I thought he would snipe him more, and he kept his foot on the inside of Luke Campbell. So obviously, keeping your foot on the inside, it isn't really the best thing to do, but some boxers do it. Obviously, you can land the jab and the hook, but Garcia did keep trying to land the right hand, and it was missing because his foot was on the inside, while Luke Campbell kept the outside foot. Garcia was just headhunting for the whole thing, and he had he had good volume and good power and pretty good fitness, to be honest. I thought as I say, I thought he was going to snipe and wait for the counter shot, and it'd be like his previous fight, sort of, except it would have gone on a bit longer because Luke Campbell's probably his toughest opponent yet, probably his hardest fight yet. So, but yeah, that didn't happen. Garcia did nearly get the finish in I think it was the fifth. Yeah, it was the fifth, and Luke was wobbled, but it was the end of the round. Obviously, it was was it round two or three, I believe, where Luke dropped him. He did the fake to the body, then came up with a left hook. Yeah, that was pretty good, to be honest, from Luke Campbell. Even though Ryan Garcia won the rest of that round before and after. I mean, it was in the middle of the round, and it was good that Garcia kept fighting, after that, and was doing really good. But obviously, in boxing, a knockdown equals a 10-8, so Campbell won that round 10-8. And round four was quite close. I remember round four being very, very close. I think I remember thinking that Ryan Garcia won that, but it was close. It can go either way. But I know some people did give it to Campbell, but that was just an insanely close round. But anyway, in the fifth, as I say, I'm pretty sure Ryan was emptying well, I wouldn't say emptying the gas tank because you forget, you watch a load of bigger people fight and their gas tank gets empty because they're so big and strong and they're just hitting loads and their gas tank empties. Well, you forget when little smaller people use power, their gas tanks don't empty as much. So they're going bam, 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 but they can do that for quite a while. So, but yeah, Garcia did do very, very good still. Even though I feel like when he was doing that flurry to Luke Campbell, I think it was in the sixth, because towards the end of the fifth was when he nearly finished him. Then he probably thought, oh, I've got to go for this. I've got to go for this finish now. Then for quite a bit of the fifth, he was just coming forward, throwing big punches, and his chin was wide open. And I'm thinking to myself, man, a Tank Davis, a Teofimo Lopez, they'd probably be able to counter him in that situation. Because Luke Campbell, all the time, whenever Garcia threw something, just like this, like this, like this, he wasn't really moving back, and he had a really, really wide stance for boxing. But I suppose for boxing at that level, but I suppose he was just sticking to the fundamentals for this fight, I guess. But yeah, just constantly like this, like this, like this, constantly. So Garcia had conditioned Luke Campbell to bite on the hook, constantly going like this. And then Garcia just threw the first body punch of the fight. Obviously, his chin was wide in the air and his hand was down, and he went bam to the body. But the thing is, right, that punch, it was so fast. I know, because the thing is, some people do, bring their hand down when they just punch so fast. It's how they get the speed off. It's quite hard to punch when your hands, up here, up here, up here. It's quite hard to. I mean, some people do still punch really, really fast, but usually to get next level speed, you have to bring it all the way. You have to bring it down a little bit to next level speed or power. Thing is, Garcia knew that was going to land, didn't he? He knew it'd land, and it because Campbell's so tough, but he didn't expect it to come. He did not expect it. He expected this coming to the head all the time, but he didn't expect Garcia to go to the body, and Garcia went to the body, and yeah, fight was over. I mean, Campbell did do well. Garcia, thing is, when Campbell dropped him, a lot of people say, no, he's got no chin, Tank Davis. Tank Davis will wreck him. Tank Davis is going to wreck him, blah, 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 blah. Just had to stop the recording for a second. So I was saying about how Ryan Garcia got knocked down and people like, oh, Tank, if Tank landed, he would have got floored and finished there. And then if Teofimo landed, you know, blah, 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 blah. I feel like Garcia will go away and improve, to be honest. I'm not just jumping on the bandwagon. I genuinely think he will improve. And the thing is, Garcia's actually finished Luke Campbell. Jorge Linares couldn't finish Campbell. Lomachenko couldn't finish Campbell. I mean, Tank Davis, it's very, very, very mixed when he shows up. Sometimes he shows up and does well. Sometimes he shows up and doesn't do that good. I mean, his last fight, he was losing some of it. He was losing some of the rounds. And then he managed to land the big punch. So, but the thing is, Tank hasn't fought anyone yet saying, oh, this guy's a small version of Mike Tyson, blah, blah, blah. Look, he's very good. And he may well be better than Garcia, but the thing is, all the things that people are saying about Garcia, oh, he hasn't proved himself, blah, 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 Tank will destroy him. Well, the fact of the matter is that if you're using that logic, then Garcia will probably beat Tank because Garcia's actually beaten someone. He finished someone who hasn't even been finished yet. Well, who wasn't finished previous to the fight. So, you know, it is what it is. People can think what they want to think. A lot of people hate him just because he's a big social media star and all that jazz. I reckon it's just a lot of jealousy. I reckon it's a lot of people who are just jealous that he's young, famous, talented, and yeah. And I mean, I know a lot of his fans are, you know, they're all like social media people and whatever, but that's absolutely fine as long as you know quite a bit about him and you know about his fights. And I don't know, I'm not a fan of bandwagoning per se, but I don't really understand hating on a fighter just because he's a social media person, blah 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 blah, social media person, and getting annoyed. It just seems a bit odd to me. Shouldn't you be glad that there's a boxer in the mainstream? I don't know. It's whatever, really. Early prediction for if he fights Tank Davis, because I'm pretty sure that fight is happening next. I'm pretty sure Tank Davis wants it. I saw some on Twitter saying Tank Davis wants it, and yeah, all that jazz. I think that Garcia goes back, improves, and is able to probably get a late TKO on Tank. I can't see him, you know, being able to get an early one just because Tank's too powerful and you don't really want to stand with him, do you? You just don't. He's just very, very good, isn't he? But if Tank doesn't show up, I guess Garcia could get the early finish because it varies when Tank shows up. Sometimes he shows up well prepared and looks pretty good. Sometimes he shows up not so prepared and doesn't look as good. So we're just going to have to see what happens at the end of the day. Maybe Tank can do it, maybe not. I mean, the thing is, Garcia, I feel like he'll fight smart. Or the thing is, if Garcia stands with him straight away, which I just don't think he'll do, he'd be foolish to do that. He'd be foolish to just stand with him straight away. Luke Campbell, you have to push him back. You have to put the pace on him. If you don't, then if Garcia didn't fight the way he fought against Campbell, Campbell probably would have won. So yeah, I think he'll fight smarter against Tank. He'll fight in the way he needs to fight to beat Tank, and he'll get the late TKO, in my opinion. So, yeah. Next topic, I forgot to bring up Chandler versus Hooker. I did hear that it was happening, but it wasn't booked for UFC 257 when I did the video. Now it's officially booked. I was going to talk about it, but there has been times in the past. I can't remember which prediction video, but I did it way before the pay-per-view, and everything was pretty much booked, but then they added a fight to it at the last minute and certain fights got cancelled. So I just try and look at what is coming up, what they say is there now, not speculation, and just predict it there and then. But yeah, let's get into it anyway. Chandler versus Hooker. So as we've seen with talent outside the UFC coming into the UFC, let's just use Ben Askren as an example. he had a bit of a questionable run, in my opinion, and a lot of other people would agree, I'm pretty sure. I mean, he went against Lawler. Lawler nearly finished him, but then Askren managed to get the Bulldog choke, which is fair play. Then he fought Masvidal. Masvidal managed to get him with a big knee. And the thing is, with these quick KOs, it's daft when people are like, oh, lucky, lucky, lucky. Oh, if that fight had gone on for X amount of time, Masvidal would have lost. He would have gotten taken down. But if Lawler can nearly finish him, then, I mean, I picked Masvidal to win anyway. I thought it would have been a late first round TKO, to be honest. Because if Robbie Lawler, who I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but, you know, like his last load of fights, he hasn't been that good. I'm pretty sure it was against Neil Magny. I can't fully remember. I don't, because the thing is, MMA fans are like, oh, you got this little fact wrong. You got this one thing wrong. You got this one thing wrong. It's like, I'm very sorry. I'm a massive casual compared to you, buddy. You know, you know absolutely everything compared to me. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, it is a bit ridiculous how annoyed people get at little things like that, getting little things wrong. Because thing is, I've got multiple interests. I don't just watch MMA 24/7 all the time. Let's talk. You know, if I was talking about something else and they didn't know about that, I'm not going to criticize them. I'm not going to come and say, "Oh, you got this wrong, this wrong, this wrong," blah 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 blah. I'm not going to get annoyed. It's whatever. Yeah, it was Neil Magny. I thought so. Unanimous decision. I can't remember everything that happened in that fight, to be honest with you. I just remember Neil Magny pretty much beating him to the punch all the time, and Lawler not being able to get anything off on him. He was just very hesitant. That's just what I remember. Yeah, Covington, Askren, RDA. He did beat Cerrone, yeah. Well, the thing is, right, nearly losing to Robbie Lawler due to strikes after, let's be real, he's nothing compared to his former self. It'd be a safe bet to assume Masvidal would have beaten him anyway. And the thing is, with people being like, oh, it's a fluke, he threw that knee out there, he ran at him and made Askren duck, and then Askren got hit with the knee. So yeah, that was also, I think both of them are bad, to be honest, because he nearly got finished by Lawler, took a lot of damage, but he did win, so you got to give the props to him. He put the submission on, even though Lawler didn't tap it, did, you know, the ref just thought Lawler went limp, and it's whatever. So there you go. So yeah, he submitted him, and that's that really. So that's a massive fair play, and then got KO'd by Masvidal, which was quite bad. Well, actually, no, I wouldn't say the Lawler thing was a massive fair play because he's a former shell of himself. But at the end of the day, it's a win. So, and then wrecked by Masvidal. Then Damian Maia, pretty weird in the striking. Very very weird when it came to striking, but grappling, I mean, Damien's just the king of submission grappling, isn't he? The point of being a good wrestler is that you can hold down strikers or defend submissions and be able to get dominant positions on good grapplers. So, as Askren is mostly wrestling and a little bit of submission grappling, he ain't really going to be able to beat the best submission grappler ever, is he? Well, I don't think so anyway. So, the best chance Askren had was keeping it on the feet, doing the weird strike into Maia, and just defending the takedowns. That's what people thought would happen, but I thought to myself, the thing is, the striking would be too even. So Askren will just go for the takedown like he always does. And yeah, and I think Askren might have been thinking to himself, well, if this just is a bad striking clinic, then I might get released from the UFC anyway. Because if he just defends takedowns and puts on a weird striking clinic, even if he wins the fight, it looks stupid. So I just thought to myself, he has to go for the takedown. And this isn't a wrestling match. This is an MMA match. Submissions are a big part of the game. Submission grappling is a massive part of the game. At the end of the day, when it goes to the ground, just because you can control someone doesn't mean you're going to beat the best grappler ever. Now, as I say, I understand people thinking Askren would have won because he could have defended the takedowns, but yeah. Bloody hell, I'm going to have to put a timestamp around here instead because I actually need to start talking about Chandler versus Hook. I've been babbling on about this for about 50 years. Point is, okay, Askren wasn't very good. So we're getting Chandler from Bellator. And Bellator's fighters are good, but not as good as the UFC's, in my opinion. I mean, Chandler lost to Patricio Pitbull, who's the featherweight and lightweight champ. I'm not saying Patricio's bad, but, losing to a dude who's a weight division lower, I'm guessing he doesn't cut much for 55, and Chandler, who's massive at 55. I know size doesn't mean everything, but to get Teague, I know the stoppage was a bit premature, but I don't think the direction was going anywhere else. I don't think Chandler would have been able to come back from that. So to get TKO'd in the first round against a dude who's way smaller than you, and you're meant to be like the best lightweight in the world, well, you know, I know he beat Henderson in his last Bellator fight, but at the end of the day, Henderson's quite old now, isn't he? He's way past it. But you know, Chandler's still good. I think he'll do better than Askren. To be honest, the lightweight division is a million times more competitive than the welterweight division. Like, just way more, man. It's just unreal. Like, the welterweight division is probably the second most competitive, but lightweight is like the most competitive in combat sports, in my opinion. As a lot of people say, any of them could be champion. And him fighting Hooker, I mean, Chandler's got a good right hand and all that, but Hooker, I think he's going to improve a lot from the Dustin Poirier fight. I really think he will. The thing is, there are some people who, it's just all assumptions, isn't it? It's like we all assumed, well, a lot of people assumed Ortega wouldn't come back that good. That Korean zombie would have been able to defend all the takedowns and just TKO'd him quite quick, because Ortega took a lot of punishment in the Holloway fight. And thing is, it's so difficult because you don't always assume that they'll improve. So I guess I've just got to go out on a limb and say, well, the thing is, even if even if Hooker fought how he did in the Poirier fight, and came forward and landed loads of combos, didn't really keep his distance, he still pretty much wrecked Poirier in the first 2 rounds, in my opinion, and he's got a great chin. I mean, Chandler, a lot of his striking is mostly just the big right hand. So, yeah, I mean, Hooker can roll with that quite easily, can't he? You know, can he defend the takedowns? Well, he couldn't defend Poirier's takedowns in the later rounds, but he could have been a bit tired, so it is a little bit. And Chandler's submissions are pretty good. They're not like next level amazing, but they're pretty good. So it is a little bit worrying in it. It is a bit. But I mean, he comes from City Kickboxing, doesn't he? And you know, Israel Adesanya defended a few Romero's takedowns, didn't he? So you know, that thinking about the wrestling aspect, yeah, it is. It is a bit difficult, but at the same time, you think, well, Hooker's striking leaps and bounds above his striking, so couldn't he just TKO him in the first round? So maybe Hooker can just keep the distance. I don't know, but if Hooker does keep the distance and tries to throw kicks and all that, could Chandler just catch it and take him down? Very interesting fight, but I think Hooker gets a decision. I think Chandler struggles to cover the distance. Hooker just really lays it on him, really dominates him for the first 2. Then the third round's very, very, very close, and then he gets probably taken down a little bit in the third, and he wins a bit of the third, but then gets taken down, because we got to remember that in that fight against Poirier, the third round was fairly close, even though Poirier won. So I reckon third round will be close and Chandler will edge it out, but the first 2, Hooker will absolutely dominate. He might even get the finish, but I'm going Hooker unanimous decision. So what was I going to talk about next? Oh yeah, the odds for Israel versus Jan Blachowicz. Let's have a look quickly. Let's find it. Here we go. Israel Adesanya minus 265 and Jan Blachowicz plus 225. Sorry that I can't pronounce his name that well. But yeah, plus 225. I think these odds are a bit ridiculous, to be honest. I don't think Izzy is going to win that easily against Yan, because the thing is, Yan, he's like, what is he? 18-2 in his last 10. I'm just going to look it up quickly. Let's have a look. Thing is, that Jacare Souza fight, I'm pretty sure Jacare won, in my opinion. There'd be rounds where Jacare was holding him against the fence and they'd just give it to Yan for some reason, which was really strange. But apart from that, yeah, Yan has done absolutely, utterly amazing in his last load of fights. Let's have a look. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, 1 in 8 in his last 9. That was the statistic. Sorry. So yeah, I mean, he did great against Corey Anderson. I thought Anderson would have beaten him. Anderson did great against the Latifi, and I thought, I thought to myself, man, he got knocked out by TKO by Thiago Santos. So I wasn't taking anything away from Yan, but I just thought to myself, Corey Anderson's going to win. But Corey Anderson went for that leg kick, and then Yan came over with the big right hand, and the rest is history. And obviously he beat Dominic Reyes, landed some great combos, and even though he was plodding, he managed to just the first few rounds were close, but Yan was landing bigger shots. Not first few, sorry. I'm pretty sure it ended in the second, didn't it? Second or third? No, late second round. Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure I remember a lot of it being competitive, but Yan was landing the bigger shots and managed to get the finish eventually. But I think Israel being a fairly big favourite, I think it's a close fight in my opinion. I get why people are, I get why people all think Izzy's going to win, but you've got to remember, Izzy doesn't cut much to 185. Sometimes he doesn't cut at all. I mean, he probably is cutting a tiny bit, but if he's coming 2 pounds underweight, he's either not cutting and he's just 183 from dieting and all that, or he's like 186 and he just does a really hard workout and sweats 3 pounds, or if he's 187, sweats 3 or 4 pounds. That is probably what's happening. So he's got a size disadvantage there. I know he said on the JRE before that he gets up to 203 pounds sometimes, and he was pretty sure he was the heavyweight champion kickboxing. I don't know what weight he was. I heard it was 220, but I'm guessing it's like probably, I don't know. I could be wrong about the 220 thing. But the point is he's been fighting at middleweight and doesn't cut to middleweight. So let's say he gets up to 203 for light heavyweight. And let's say if he puts on a bit of muscle for heavyweight, he can get up to, I don't know, 220 maybe. But yeah, he gets up to 203 for light heavyweight. Yan's going to have a big size advantage. He's a big bloke. But at the end of the day, I do sort of get why everyone thinks he's going to win because, like, quite easily because Yan's just a plodder. But Yan's got so much power, and Izzy has the height and reach advantage at middleweight. So that is a big help. But yeah, Yan does offer his stand up. So I sort of get it. But Yan's so powerful, and he's putting away top light heavyweights with fairly good striking. I know the thing is, size usually comes in with grappling, doesn't it? The size aspect. Unless it's like a big wrestler again and who takes down a smaller submission grappler and gets tapped out, like, Damian Maia tapping out Charleston and at middleweight. But I just feel like it's not clear cut. I just feel like look, if Izzy TKOs him in round 2 or 3, then absolute fair play to Izzy. He deserved to be such a massive favourite. But I think people are sleeping on Yan a bit, and he's so powerful. And apart from the Jacare fight and the Thiago Santos fight, he's done so well in all the other fights, in all of his other last 9 fights. So, yeah, I think it's closer. I think Israel at light heavyweight in MMA is an unanswered question. Well, at light heavyweight at the top level. I'm pretty sure he competed at light heavyweight at a low level, very low MMA level, like his first or second or third professional fight. Don't quote me, I'm not entirely sure. I still think Izzy wins, but I think it's like a later TKO in my opinion, like 3rd or 4th. I don't think it's a first round clear cut. Quite a big favourite. Mind you, I guess. Thing is, I don't with odds, like someone can be a -1,000 favourite, and then what does that mean then? Do people think they're just going to get a TKO in the first 10 seconds? I mean, people have been -1,000 favourites and bloody it's gone to decision. So what does that insinuate? Are they trying to suggest that they're just going to win no matter what, no matter how it happens? They're just going to win. So are they going to just? Is they're going to win any way, shape, or form? Just because they're a -1,000 favourite doesn't mean it's going to be an early TKO. So they're suggesting he's going to win in any way, shape, or form. But you can say that for a lot of fights, though. So I just think the odds should be closer because Yan's powerful. I think he's got a good chance. He's bigger, stronger. Who knows? Maybe he could shove a bit of wrestling. I doubt it. I think he's just going to stand, plod. I mean, thing is, he doesn't really show any of his wrestling, does he? He doesn't really take people down. I mean, in the Luke Rockhold fight, Luke did get him against the fence, and I'm pretty sure at the end of the first round or towards the end, Yan pushed Luke towards the fence. So maybe he could clinch Izzy, but he doesn't usually start the clinch, does he, Yan? So yeah, Izzy's definitely winning, but I just think the odds should be a bit closer. So next topic I wanted to talk about, I saw this meme that's saying which fighter has got in the most trouble. Mike Perry, McGregor, and John Jones. So let's talk about them 3 then. I know a lot of this stuff is old news, but Mike Perry, I don't know a lot of the stuff he's done really. I don't know how much he's done apart from hitting an old man. But that old man was starting on him, I'm pretty sure, wasn't he? He was having a go at him in a restaurant and then he hit him with a big right hand. That's no way to conduct yourself. He was a bit immature and stupid. And unless the old man hit him first, I don't really see the point of Perry flooring him like an idiot. So yeah, I remember, I think on a live stream or on the podcast, I sort of said, "Oh, fair play, Perry." And the old man was being a bit of a dick. So I suppose if you get up in someone's face, what do you expect to happen? But I don't know. Perry should try and walk away. I can't remember the exact full details of that story though. So maybe ages ago I was correct. Maybe I was thinking to myself, "Oh, that the old man was in the wrong and Perry was in the right." But you know, a bit of an iffy one. But now on to McGregor. He's done a few bad things, throwing a bottle of water. That's no good. Plastic bottle of water at Nate Diaz could have hit someone. So, but I guess it's to promote the fight. But yeah, that's no good. I don't know how much trouble he got in for that, but didn't he get fined or something? Then you've got him attacking the bus. That was absolutely, utterly ridiculous. I know Khabib, was a bit of an idiot to lob off, but at the end of the day, you don't do stuff like that. But I'm not trying to justify this, but it was fight promotion. The UFC used it as promotion. Conor got the rivalry going. It got 2.7 million buys. That you shouldn't do that shit. You should find better ways to promote the fight. Let's be real, than making it look like some crazy TV show. Just absolutely, utterly stupid. People could have got seriously hurt, and it makes the sport look daft. And what else did he do? Hit an old man, which is no good. An old man in a pub, I think he just said to him, "Oh, your whiskey shit" or something, and then he hit him. So that is pretty uncool, but hey ho, there you go. Hopefully McGregor's learned from his mistakes. And John Jones, I think, I'm just saying it right now, I think he's definitely done the most. I mean, and a lot of the stuff is just car-related stuff, to be honest, isn't it? And steroids and drugs. So from what I remember, I think some fans was like saying stuff to him ages ago, and he was like, and he just drove off really fast, like they were trying to get his attention. And then he revved the engine and drove off. Can't really remember. But let's not just talk about cars, obviously. I know he crashed into that woman who was pregnant and then ran back to the car and got weed, then ran off. And that was a big mistake, but hopefully he's learned from that. I mean, it's just a bit ridiculous, really. That, but thankfully, I'm pretty sure the woman was fine and the baby was fine when it was born. So, yeah, at least I really hope so anyway. Don't quote me. What else has he done? All the steroid nonsense, that was no good. That was quite bad. He obviously at UFC 200 it was a dick pill, wasn't it? But they're like an estrogen blocker. But then 214 it was steroids, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's awful." But he managed to get his ban down because apparently he was a snitch for USADA, and then, but I'm pretty sure they reduced his sentence then, and then they reduced it even more because what was it? No, I'm trying to think now. I think no. It was because he had passed every other drug test, but then failed the one on the day. That was what it was. So then they reduced the sentence even more. And obviously he got in trouble for the picogram stuff, the anabolic steroids that was still in his system. But USADA or someone said, or Jeff Novinsky, I don't know who it was, but they was like, "Oh, it's who, I don't know who exactly it was, but they said it's like it's like getting a grain of salt and cutting it up into 50 million pieces or something ridiculous. It's so small, and it's probably just left over in his system, so they brushed that one under the rug. Yeah, I mean, what else has John Jones done recently? Didn't he have like guns in his car and he was drunk and he drunk a load out of this vodka bottle or something? Oh, I don't know, ridiculous. I mean, from that meme, John Jones is obviously the worst in my opinion. I like watching him fight. I mean, I know a lot of people don't really care for John Jones anymore because his last two fights weren't really that good. Well, he didn't perform that good. Thiago Santos one, I thought he just edged it out slightly, but Dominic Reyes won the first three, then Jones won 4 and 5. I mean, it was quite obvious to me, but the judges saw it differently, I guess. what else then? I mean, oh yeah. Why else people don't like him? I mean, I get it because he's cheated and all that stuff. But to be honest, I suppose I've just got to stop talking about like, oh, he's a fighter liked, he's a fighter not liked, because obviously you see Jack Slack, the Weasel, and most MMA people are not, or like MMA on point, they're not. Oh no, I'm nothing compared to them, but they're like not having to go at MMA fighters. And in the past, I sort of had said, oh, I don't like this person, I like this person, or oh, people like this person, blah 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 blah. Which you can give little hints and bits and pieces to what you think of things, but you can't really outright say, oh, I don't like this person or I like this person, because I mean you can if you want, but you know, I mean most MMA fighters I respect. Obviously there are some I'm not a big fan of, but that's with everyone in every sport, isn't it? You know, yeah, with John Jones, I mean, I think he won't beat Francis and Stipe, but let's just see what happens at the end of the day. Hopefully, he just doesn't keep making daft mistakes. The guns in his car, you know, getting arrested. Or having the police, yeah, getting arrested by the police again. That's no good in my opinion. But there you go. Hopefully, he's learned from it. Hopefully, they've all learned from their mistakes, and that's that. All right, then. Let's look at some MMA news then. Andre Arlovski versus Tom Aspinall. Aspinall is going to floor him. Aspinall beat Tanner Boser ages ago. Tanner Boser struggled against Arlovski. It was a close fight, but Boser didn't really do much. Neither did Arlovski, but Arlovski probably did slightly more. Yeah. So yeah, Dan Hooker versus Chandler. What's this say? They want him to come in and look like the man. Oh, Dan Hooker and Michael Chandler. I don't know. They've given. I don't think they're trying to suck up to Chandler. They didn't. If they wanted to back up Chandler, they'd give him a piss easy fight, wouldn't they? They give him a well easy fight. They give him bloody. I don't. Well, not easy because not many people in the lightweight division are easy, but they might give him Mark DeKaisi. I know Renato Moicano has been knocked out by Rafael Fiziev, but they might give him Renato Moicano. Who else could they give him? Maybe Drakkar Close. I know none of these are easy fights, but they're easier than Dan Hooker. Or maybe they just think, oh, he's going to wrestle him, and then he'll be in the title picture. I mean, maybe they think that, but I mean, it seemed like they were more complimentary to Ben Askren because, as I said earlier, you know, them giving him Robbie Law, that's quite an easy fight. They probably thought he'd whoop Masvidal, be able to take him down, and well, yeah, that didn't work out. And who else? Oh yeah, obviously Damian Moore. And they thought, oh, it will go either way. We're not really bothered because he just got knocked out and lost all his star power. All right, Scott Coker doesn't understand UFC roster cuts, but says it's good for us. Yeah, I mean, who's he cut? The main ones I know about, Romero and Tyron Woodley. And I mean, cutting them, I mean, Romero still can do a lot of cool stuff, but Dana's like, oh, he's an old man. And obviously Woodley's lost his last three, and Woodley can still do stuff, but I suppose he just got rid of him. There you go. John Jones and Muck Sonia's tweets. Tough 25 winner Mike Trezano returns to face Rafael Alves. Gilbert Burns heaps praise on very underrated Conor McGregor. Fair dues. Well, that's the end of Casual Combat Talk for this week. Hopefully you all enjoyed. Have a good one and see you.